Hey there, Rooster Teeth fans. Welcome to another episode of the RWBY After Show on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we are talking about Volume 5, Episode 7, Birds of a Feather. Will they flock together? Well, you'll have to tune in to find out.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Going tonight. There we go.
Yeah.
How's everything?
Ooh.
Everybody having a good time? California is on fire, everyone. And I don't know if you knew that yet, but
We're all okay.
We're all fine for the time being. I think we're good. Anywho, we're here to talk about fun stuff and not the fact that our entire city's on fire. Anyway, hey RWBY fans, welcome to another episode of the RWBY After Show on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we are talking about Birds of a Feather. Let me go ahead and introduce my fantastic panel. To my left, Mark Donica.
Hi everybody. Not to steal something from you, but the valley is something resembling the Galra Empire. So
A dumpster fire.
yeah, that just way out of control. Hi, I'm Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. And to my left is Katie Cullen.
Hi, all my buddies. You can follow me all over the social medias at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. You will occasionally find pictures of the fire. There was another one that showed up this morning because it wanted to join the party. To my roundabout left is Megan Salinas.
Hey guys, you can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. We are going to be keeping an eye on the hashtag RWBY
That was subtle, but you did it. I saw you do it. Down here, like not even on camera. You did the hashtag thing. You did it on the desk. That was amazing.
That is how I remind me.
Anyway, so you can follow that hashtag. Katie's got you guys covered on the live chat, as does Mark.
I got some stuff.
We have someone all the way from Australia.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Hi, Nikita.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And before we get started, we want to talk to you guys really quickly about iTunes. Folks, it is the best way to let our producers know that you guys like the show that we're putting on. We are under the name Rooster Teeth Reviews in the iTunes store, so your comments really do make a difference in terms of making us searchable for anybody looking for Rooster Teeth content. And guys, if you do leave a comment in the iTunes store, you may even get a shout out on the show.
How weird. It's like we planned this. It's like we ran out of time last week and we're doing it at the top so that we don't forget.
So that
We
we
plan
don't
things?
run out of time. Whoa.
We're just cats chasing cats. Figure that out. So we've got a 5-star review, because only 5 stars work, clearly. Best podcast, best crew from Drummer Girl 456. What up? I recognize
we
you.
love
Hello.
you.
Absolutely love talking with you guys about these shows and hearing all of the cool predictions. Comfortable emoji? I don't know. And then a heart. Welcome back, RWBY After Show from David Jackson, 5 stars, because that's all that works. Great to have the After RWBY crew back together for another. It's the ABTV Rooster Team. Thank you very much. We're back together for another volume of color-coded girls doing what they do best. I pretty much never get to sit in for you live, but I always make sure to watch or listen when I can. I enjoy it every time. That's
Aww.
excellent, because we do the show live. This season we're doing it every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you can't join us live, though if you can, you're a part of this fun, crazy chat that we can't keep track of. Turned almost Russian for a second. But yeah, any way that you can support the show, watch it, share it with your friends. Have watch parties. Why not? And then our third one is a 5-star from Waddlebean26. Awesome. You guys are the best when it comes to RWBY. You guys are hilarious and very entertaining. Keep it up. Thank you so much to everybody who left us a review. We love you.
Yeah, you guys, it means the world to us. You guys are so sweet. I also want to give a shout out to everybody last week who left us fan art while we were doing the show. There were some gems last week, guys. It was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, don't be a stranger.
The touching reunion one was just glorious.
That was hilarious.
Pretty solid.
See, from Princess Ponies,
Princess Ponies
who does a
and
lot of
Malachroma.
super fun stuff.
Princess Ponies and Malachroma were on point last week.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much. So guys, let's really quickly too, because I don't want to forget either. Be sure to also follow because the start of this episode was all about friends being together. You guys might have noticed there aren't a couple people here. Be sure to follow Stacey Shuttleworth at Stacey Shuttles on Twitter. And be sure to follow Patrick at P to the D's on Twitter.
Yeah,
as
they're
well.
in Menagerie a month from now. So.
Yeah.
There's this
Or a month
time
ago.
skip
A
month ago.
situation. It's real complicated, but be sure to tweet them your guys' love.
And another thing real quick, I know we're talking about episode 7, but just so you guys know, Megan and I have not seen episode 8 yet because reaction video recording schedules are super fun and interesting. So please no spoilers in the comments or in the chat.
And not just that, there are some people who, for some reason, don't have a Rooster Teeth first subscription. So just be kind to those people. They may only have YouTube. And also the official guidelines of stuff like this that other community members do, like y'all do on your own time for covering the episodes, is only stuff that's on the
Public YouTube release.
Public YouTube release. So that's why we do it this way. So remember, we're a quote week behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime you guys sort of forget and just assume like, hey, like it's up on the Rooster Teeth site, that means everybody's seen it. No, that's not necessarily
No.
the case. I actually do have a friend outside of AfterBuzz named Ashley who's watching this show only with the YouTube releases. So guys, please no spoilers. It really means a lot. And you guys are on top of it too. I will say that whatever happens in the next episode is gigantic though, because even though I haven't gotten any direct spoilers, I've seen people posting about it. So I'm like, ooh, something happened.
Stuff goes down next episode. But we're not talking about that,
We're
are
not
we?
talking about that. We're talking about this one. And guys, being reunited is
Reunited, and it feels so
nice.
good.
It's a good one.
The beginning of this episode reminded me a lot of basically any time I get to hang out with like my friends from high school and college that I haven't seen in ages. It just, yeah, our city's on fire, but there was just something really comforting about seeing this group of characters together in the same room again. Sort of reminiscing and having a good time. I want to know, did this opening scene give you all the warm and fuzzies?
Oh my god, yes. Especially since it's them referencing stuff that we've already seen and we didn't really need the, hey, remember the time this happened? We just cut right into in the middle of the party? And it was just a thing of wonder and glory.
It was, like you said, it's one of those things where the years and the experiences sort of fall away and you go back to that comfortability of all of these people. Let's go back to a simpler time. We went back to the Ice Queens and the Puke Boy. That took me a second. Like I went, oh yeah, because he threw up on the Quinjet. Like it was just such a random reference that I was like, oh yeah, and then that gave me an extra layer of, oh yeah, he did do that, and then it felt like I was in that room with those people reminiscing about the wonderful stories that we've all gotten to share as passersby, as our own shadow people.
Yeah. There are a couple friends where I usually go years and years without seeing them, and then when I get together with them, it's like no time has passed at all. And
Yeah.
that's very much what this felt like. Do you guys have friends like that?
Oh sure.
I think about 2 years ago, I went up for a high school friend's wedding, and I hadn't seen her in years. She was living somewhere up near the Great Lakes, and so it's like, all right, well, I never make it up there. With a few of our other friends, it was like no time had passed. It had been a decade, and we just sat down and had a grand old time.
I like that this is also timed on and around the Thanksgiving time, at least in America, where sometimes you don't have either a full family or family at all to share this sort of a thing with. So this was the unofficial Friendsgiving special for RWBY, and it was really nice.
Yeah, especially like again here, not to make too many comparisons to like living in Los Angeles, but really anywhere. If you're like, if you live far away from where you grew up, you can't always make it home for Thanksgiving. So like, it's nice when you find a group of people who have like become your family out here. So yeah, that's very much what this felt like. And we also get some pretty fantastic moments. I think my personal favorite was Nora and Yang's arm wrestling.
Oh my god.
competition.
The night before,
Amputee humor.
the night before it went up on the site, people were tweeting the thumbnail, and I just showed my wife and I was like, Andrea, I don't care if this is the whole episode. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Totally.
That could have been the whole episode, and I would have been completely satisfied.
You did see that thumbnail floating around on Twitter, and yeah, that was just like, oh yes, hello.
Now,
I'm in.
Not to ask that question, but had Yang not deployed her arm, who do you guys think would have won?
Nora.
I think they'd still be sitting there to this day.
Yeah.
Just locked in epic combat.
I'm contractually obligated to say that Nora wins everything.
You kind of are.
Yeah, that's me.
I was great in school. Oh my God, honey.
But yeah, I agree. Probably
Just an epic standoff for all eternity.
just moss growing.
I like that. Two titans locked in eternal combat.
I mean, if it were outside on a stormy day, Nora would probably get the advantage because she has elemental-based boosts, whereas Yang, as Tai Yang put it, I just got to get a little angry.
She goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
I would.
But the more damage she takes, the more damage she gives back.
I would absolutely love to see a little bout between the two of them. I think they, more than anybody else, would have an absolute ball with it. And I think that it would be one of those fights where it's all in good fun.
Oh, yeah.
And we would have just as much fun as they're having watching it go down.
It's like Dragon Ball Z in between major sagas where it's like, hey, let's have a sparring match.
Yeah.
And,
We're gonna enter
let's
a
learn to
tournament.
drive.
Yeah.
We're gonna enter a tournament together, and even though we're like leagues beyond everybody else, it's gonna be fun when we face off.
Let's learn to drive.
Best episode.
Best filler. Best filler.
But kind of a little bit more in terms of character development, because again, it's great to see everybody here, but Ren actually has, I think he nails it in terms of what it means to grow up and what it means when you see old friends again and when you look back on the time you spent together. And in terms of growing as people, what did you guys take away most from Ren's sort of monologue, I guess?
That is absolutely right. You live and you learn.
This sort of hit me on a little bit more of a meta level of just the history of the character of Ren from a performer standpoint, of course.
Yeah.
So hearing all of that, and there people, there are a lot of fans that and I think one of the benefits of this not being a direct of this show, our show, being not a direct Rooster Teeth product, is that sometimes we can speak a little bit out of turn on behalf of some people, and there's a lot of there has been a lot of criticism about how much the show has changed with Monty gone.
Yeah.
But he's still so much a part of the show, and this was one of the parts where it's like, of course he's still here. This is all still Monty's baby, and they make sure to inject that because of how important he is to this show and continues to be.
Yeah, as beautiful as this reunion was, and as much as entertaining as it was, and as much as it gave me this warm and fuzzy feeling, there's also, and they don't dwell on it, they focus on the good, but you also get this sense there are people missing at this table.
Oh, yeah.
Kira's not here. Blake's not here. She didn't know everybody, but Penny's not here either. And it's one of those things where even though they're gone, you're carrying the memory of them with you wherever you go, and they live on through the laughter and the memories of you all together.
And I would, as a point of reference, empty chairs and empty tables.
Little different. Nope.
Casualties of war.
Okay.
My friends are dead as a result of a war.
But this one was very much more like, hey, we're reminiscing, we're having a better tournament. Empty chairs at empty tables is like, all my friends are dead.
Survivor's
the song.
Guild.
It's on my Agent Washington playlist. It doesn't really belong in this moment.
But no, I love that comparison, and just Les Mis is one of my favorite things, so
Sure.
I love that comparison.
You even made chat sad. Jeez, Mark.
It's a sad thing. loss is sad, but like...
But it's something you have to accept, and that's another part of that monologue is look at how much we've grown, and and both on a meta and on an in-show level, we're keeping the memory of these people alive every way that we can, and it's helped both the show and these characters grow.
That is, it's a hard pill to swallow, but that is part of growing up and growing old. Loss is an inevitability of life. Yeah. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner you'll be able to move on. And again, be able to focus on the positive when you acknowledge that that is a part of your life. And that's what, and I know we've said it before, but that's what Volume 5 is about thematically. Volume 4 was about loss and dealing with it, and Volume 5 is about picking up and moving forward. And you really get that here. So yeah, any other comments on like the fun sort of things before we get into like exposition-based stuff?
Annabella in chat says, Mark's comment makes me think of Parting Glass.
Yes! Oh, that song is perfect. Like, guys, if I like die in these fires here in LA, play Parting Glass at my funeral.
And William Benson says, geez, more like Mark B. Donica.
I'll take it. I don't do it all the time, but I think this is an important time to reflect on it.
The Parting Glass, for those who don't know, it's an Irish drinking song. Very much, and it's basically about one person leaving the bar before everybody else, calling it a night. But like metaphorically, it's about like a person who has to leave, and like in terms of like life.
If there's a traditional Irish song about leaving the bar before everyone else, it's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
These are
for death.
Irish songs.
It's a metaphor for death.
I'm Irish, I can say this.
But I will send you, my favorite cover is Peter Holland's version of it. It's an acapella. I will send it to you after the show because I adore that song. Anywho, neither here nor there. Let's talk about the exposition that we get, because Ozpin and Crow have some explaining to do, getting Weiss and Yang up to speed with everybody else. And it more or less matches what Raven sort of told them. And kind of looking at Yang's body language, sort of hearing this, how did you guys feel like what her mental process was? Because you can definitely tell she's like closed off and wants answers.
I feel like, and I work at a high school, so I've seen this more than once. When you're sitting there and you're watching someone and you are just so sure that they are lying to you in some way, shape, or form, that's that kind of expression. That's that you're not telling me the truth and I'm not happy with anything you're saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised. Honestly, it seemed like there was... Personally, I think that it's probably in Yang's nature as well, but there was such a defiance and such a stand-up of, you weren't there for me, I'm not going to listen to a damn word that you have to say. And especially riding off after showing her transformation ability, Yang still didn't seem to give a good damn at all. So the flip of... I think it would be more like... Her dialogue and her reaction to that made sense. The body language was super telling, of course, and I thought that there would be a more subtle way to do that, but Yang's not subtle. So there is that.
Subtle Yang.
When Yang has an obstacle, her method is to punch through it.
And Standing by Life in chat noted, note when Yang said, no more lies, Ozpin said, understood. Not I will or I promise, just that he simply heard her.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
When you live for that long and you lie for that long, it's not a switch you can just turn off.
And you learn how to get good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, given that, do we think he's going to be honest with them, or keep playing things close to the chest, as he puts it?
I think Yang wants, like, the entire series Bible, as it were, right now. I think that for Ozpin, when things come up that need to be explained, they will be explained, but it's not going to be a matter of, here is literally everything you need to know, here's where we start. Because for one, that burns a lot of time, and time is not something they have a lot of right now. And two, he's just not that kind of person.
I think maybe this is an assumption, but I feel like when he says understood, he's still going to lie by omission unless asked a direct question.
It's like,
Absolutely.
Oh, go ahead.
It's like, how come this person can transform into a mountain? I don't know, at this point. Why can that person transform into a mountain? You're like, you didn't ask about the mountain, guys, so I didn't tell you. Yeah, and the mountain...
Right, the mountain. It's been so long.
Mountain Glen. It's not a place.
It's
a guy.
person.
He's literally a mountain named Glen.
Good old Glenn.
Good old Glen.
There's a story there that I'll only tell you if you ask me about directly.
Yeah, Grim Eclipse DLC. But
And Malachroma says he's going to be technically honest. He'll never tell a lie, but there's information he won't be direct about. It's like dealing with the Fae. Great.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think to his credit, I feel like, again, a lot of this stuff, he's been going at what his feud with Salem has been going on for so long, and he has so many mechanisms in play. I think, to his credit, there are going to be things where it doesn't occur to him to bring it up, because that's something that just happens when there's a generational disconnect. Like, occasionally I'll ask my parents, why didn't you tell me this? And they were like, did we never tell you that?
Why didn't you tell me that Grandpa murdered a man? Oh, we didn't tell you that? That's one of our family stories.
yeah.
Have you not heard that?
Exactly, especially factoring in that not only does he have psyche changes from generation to generation where he goes into a new body, some stuff will probably get left out, and he has hundreds if not thousands of years of backlog that I don't blame him if he forgets something from 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And there are also things where I'm sure, like, he just, like, assumes Crow kind of told them.
You do it.
Yeah, it's like, this is a family thing. You tell them that. Like,
Because our family is super functional.
So I want to say, to his credit, there might be some things like that where it just doesn't occur to him to bring it up. On the other hand, I definitely feel like he's going to be lying by omission unless asked a direct question about certain things. Something we do get a direct answer for is that Oz, is in fact the wizard that gave the power of the four maidens their abilities, which we basically knew already.
God bless this man. Zero foresight. Here's some power. How's it going to be passed on? Like, the least convenient, most troubling, probably stupidest way. Like, you should set it so the power returns to you and then you pick another successor. What is this last person you were thinking of? Oh, that had some unintended consequences. You don't say.
Well, much like in our world, probably millennia ago, it's probably a much more pure, innocent sort of a thing. Even from us, like comparing stuff to the 50s, it's like, oh, it was so much more wholesome back then.
No, the 50s were pretty messed up.
Well, no, that's the thing is, of course there were, but in terms of this glorified lens,
Well,
it might have been
And
no one murders people.
Not to mention that, again, the world of Remnant was probably very different back then as well. And honestly, for an old, jaded wizard who received joy for, like, the first time in his life, it was like, these four maidens are so pure and so, like, wonderful that, like, the person they pass on their power to will probably be just like them. And, like, there's no possible way this system could backfire on me.
Cut to now.
Yeah.
Cam Griffin in chat says, I still don't know how my curse works. You think I know where your powers go when you die?
I will say, though, the version that we were presented with was a fairy tale. Mm-hmm. It's entirely possible that instead of being like, oh, I'm giving you this gift because, oh, you've brought joy to this old man's heart, it was probably more along the lines of, hey, you four are reliable. Want to join a war with me?
Yeah,
There's
most
kind
likely.
of an evil witch that I'm, like, in eternal combat with. You want to help me out with that? You guys seem trustworthy.
Y'all seem pretty cool. Magic's real. I have it. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of powers. See you in a millennia.
Have fun.
We're going to be a Sentai group. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Work on your poses.
I call Captain Ginyu.
You
No,
want
I
to
call
do the
Goldo.
thing? Is that the one with the leg like all the way back and up? I
No,
don't
that's the little
remember.
frog dude.
He's the one that can stop time by holding his breath.
No, I know, but I want to know what his pose
Dibs on
was.
Chase.
No, his was like this. or
His
something,
was
yeah.
that. I thought that was Ginyu's.
No,
The people who
Ginny's
aren't
down like this.
the people who are listening to this on iTunes are just missing some physical comedy gold here.
And this is why you need to tune in to youtube.com animation, AfterBuzz Animation, and subscribe.
Hang out in the live chat.
Subsnurb.
It's super fun.
Now, again, to kind of bring it back to Yang, the way I look at her reaction to this story and the way this conversation ultimately unravels is she's heard one version of it. And even though she has no reason to trust her mom has given her enough reason to doubt Ozpin. And that's, Ozpin did something to me. And then when they're given this story, conveniently that bit is left out until she asks about it. In which Oz says, Oz and Crow both say, oh no, this was something that we wanted. We accepted the responsibility. This was a choice that we made. Now, this is Crow and Ozpin saying that. Is that their point of view? Or is that maybe another lie by omission?
When we watch this, you brought up a really good point in that she may have had a choice to make, but she may have felt like she didn't have a choice at all if she needed to keep it in order to keep her cover or something like that. So you have a choice, but obviously I have to go along with whatever you want or whatever my brother wants in order to maintain this cover, maintain what we're doing, whatever.
Like a shotgun wedding sort of a thing. It's
Like-
like, well, I mean, you chose. I had a
You
shotgun
did
to your
say
back,
I
but you
do.
did say yeah. I think by the way Crow reacted, that I believe Crow a little bit more than Oz, just because of how blunt he is.
Yeah.
And if Ozpin was like, no, I got this. You shut up. Let me tell this. I got the story right. You shut up. Then
Let me explain.
It-
Wink, wink,
yeah,
wink.
it would have been a little bit more suspect in Crow doing some sort of a like wanton look to the side or whatever of, I remember when we made that choice or whatever.
We were so young and
yeah,
innocent.
something like that. It probably would have been like, wait a minute, but he was like, oh, okay, hold on. I know my sister. Let me
I
tell you."
legitimately don't remember making that choice. I'm pretty sure I was 6 drinks in.
So yeah, so like that's the thing is Crow presented it, and it might be a switch, it might be something, and by doing that, setting up that exact situation where of course it's Crow, we have to trust Crow because of course we trust Crow. But I think that I believe him more than I believe Oz.
Well, and it's possible that Crow was on board and Raven was on board, and then after something happened, because I'm sure there was some form of inciting incident for her going, and we're done. That's when she went, actually, I never had a choice. Actually, I feel this way about it now. Because human brains are really, really good at rewriting our own memories.
Very true.
Yeah, it's definitely your attitude about something can definitely color your memory.
Yeah, it
of-
wasn't like
Oh,
they, it
absolutely.
wasn't like they lost a game of Flip Cup, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden, and you have to be birds now. It's like, no. It's like, well, you wanted those 10 Budweisers, so hey, we're gonna do it. Sorry.
Students who agree to be birds say what?
What? He got me again.
They're birds! Cracked it.
That
Malachroma.
moment with Nora and just getting it, like it finally sinking in for her was beautiful animation, beautiful acting. All of it was just like, oh, that was the perfect comedic break we needed from all of this.
Yeah.
I love every single one of you.
And that's why Nora's the best character. Malachroma. I just like the idea of Raven being totally down for being a bird, more than Crow even, and just being a drama queen about it to Yang later down the road.
I mean, yeah, she was clearly being manipulative.
Feathers are Look, if she hated being a bird, why does she have that feather thing coming off of her head?
All
She's
of the
into
feathers. So many feathers.
She's into it.
Here's the thing. Maybe
do they call you,
she
Raven?
thought-
Transform.
Maybe she thought she was going to get to be an animorph. And then she got stuck with just one bird. And she was like, that's not what I signed up for.
Hey, Tobias was awesome.
I was gonna say the old Tobias syndrome.
Yep, the old Tobias thing. She's like, that's not what I signed up for. I signed up for every animal I touch. I'm really upset right now.
TMNT Country Dragon, which is a heck of a name, yeah, in chat says, I think it may have been Raven's choice in the moment, but she regretted it afterward to the point where she denies any personal blame. Perhaps she was expecting a different result.
Oh, sure.
That's
It's entirely possible.
That's true. That is a possibility. Go ahead.
And it could have also been something where Oz is like, hey, let's try this. I might be able to change you back, maybe. And it, like, maybe he lied in that moment where, yes, she did agree, but ultimately, yeah, it's so muddy.
It probably went
Yeah.
down very, very similar to his proposition to Pyrrha to become the Fall Maiden. It's like, hey guys, here's this thing. The choice is yours, but just so you know, lives are hanging in the balance.
Look, if it took a night to do what Crow did in 2.5 episodes, 3 episodes, then you can tell Pyrrha in an afternoon. Jeez.
It's also possible that because, and I think my big thing is that, like, again, with semblances and dust and everything like that, to me, magic isn't that far of a leap because most of the media that I consume, magic still has rules. But given everybody's reactions here, magic is this thing where it's kind of taboo. Magic seems to be an unnatural thing to the point where they're all very put off by the very notion of it. So that, again, it's kind of at odds with me because I was like, darkness portals are okay, but like turning into a bird's weird.
It's like Philosopher's Stones in a Full Metal Alchemist. You get to circumvent the rules, and that has everyone kind of going.
So to me, like, I think the real horror here is that maybe becoming an animal, or at least in the way that Oz has allowed them to do so, there's some sort of darker implication that we're not getting. If Raven is to be believed, she could just be being a drama queen.
The question is always whether Raven is to be believed.
Yeah. Or whether or not she was just trying to openly manipulate Yang. Be like, look at this unnatural thing that was done to me. Poor me. Feel sorry for me, girl.
I know I abandoned you, but feel sorry for me.
Aaron, I'm really the victim here.
the ongoing winner of Mother of the Year, Raven. How about that?
Speaking
I'm a cool mom.
do you guys have any other thoughts on sort of Ozpin getting everybody up to speed and sort of potentially crossing his fingers behind his back, promising that he's going to be honest with everybody? Any final thoughts on this conversation before we switch gears a little bit?
Not for me.
I think at the end of last season, I had mentioned that Weiss was my favorite character, and she continues to be so. I mean, behind Nora, of course, but just because the subtlety in Kara's performance and the animation and everything, the fact that she was putting on airs in the earlier seasons where it's like, I'm demure, I'm this, I'm that, being very bombastic in the process. And now she's gotten to a point where she's seen some stuff. She's seen some terrifying stuff to the point where now she is that person. Now she has evolved into that person of being able to, instead of not knowing how to handle the situation, so she was allowed to feign intelligence or however she was doing it. Now she is that prepared, that warrior, essentially, in waiting in a battle skirt.
You're not cheering loud enough.
That was great.
Yeah. So getting all of that Team RWBY stuff back, but then also seeing where everybody's progressed. And for me, this episode, especially Weiss.
Well, when they were at Beacon, for the exception of RWBY, because she was much younger, everyone else was basically your college freshman.
Oh, sure.
This is who
High
I
school
am
freshman.
after 17 years of living with my parents. And obviously I am this. This is what I know. And we obviously see Weiss's upbringing and go, oh, okay, harsh reality check o'clock. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Weiss, again, it was just really nice to see her and Yang interacting, and kind of her putting on that, like, oh, you guys are so immature sort of attitude, but in like a fun-loving spirit of like, oh, you guys are so immature, but I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
You know, this is family. This is real family, not like weird, awful, manipulative, terrible people with their own agendas. This is just a group of people who care about each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
this
that's
is my
great.
actual family. All right.
The only other thing I want to bring up is that I still feel so bad for Oscar, who keeps getting hijacked for these long bits of exposition, and then like
Waking up in weird positions.
kind of getting
There's
like
a better way to say it.
getting,
I know there is, but I chose not to.
getting thrown back into the driver's seat as he's like, making physical contact with like these very intimidating, awesome huntresses. Whoa!
I'm touching a girl's shoulder.
Oh my gosh! I will say though, with this dialogue between Oz and Yang, and the kind of look of admiration she gives him as he's saying, like, you guys are all together. It's important that you all rest up and enjoy this happy moment.
Treasure these.
Because tomorrow's gonna suck.
The look of admiration that she's giving him, or at least like, seems like she's satisfied with the answers he's giving her. I'm wondering if they're not setting her up for disappointment. Like,
Oh, sure.
I feel like they're projecting pretty hard. She's putting her faith in what he's saying, and she's being set up for disappointment so that at some point later on down the road, Raven can be like, I told you so.
I think she's being set up for bitterness in a similar way, but she's going to come to a crossroads, and we're going to be like, oh, well, we see what happened with Raven and all of that in Mom of the Year. But I think we'll be able to have confidence that Yang will make a better choice, and maybe that can be where Blake comes back into the picture or whatever. That's not a spoiler for next episode. I absolutely
I kinda
promise.
figured.
Absolutely promise. Yeah, well,
Stuff
I
and things and things and
Special
stuff.
shout out to Malachroma again on Twitter, who did this great fan art of Nora going, Yang, can you give me a hand? Sure.
Full on Toy Story.
Or is that, I think that's Ruby actually. No, never mind, it's Ruby, but it is delightful. Please go to RWBY ABTV to check out those fun sketches. Thank you, Malachroma, you're the best. All right, so speaking of Mom of the Year, we do cut back to Raven's camp, where Shay D. Man...
the worst.
I'm
the best
so
worst.
happy
The best word.
that his name is actually that. Like, God bless.
I'm going to call him Cliff.
I mean, in the original credits, when he first showed up, he was like Shady
Shady
Guy
Man. Yeah,
or
he was
something like
Shady
that.
Man.
So, might as well.
But yeah, so good old Cliff is guarding the outside, and when who strolls up, but a couple people we haven't seen in ages, Mercury and Emerald roll in, and he's not too keen on seeing them, and he's about to, engage with them, but then Watts and Cinder seem to walk up, and his facial expression completely changes. He recognizes one of these two.
And the question is who?
Who do we think he recognizes?
Watts.
I agree. I think Watts.
Been around longer, a bigger player than Cinder. Like, Cinder only just made it to the adult table. She's been at the kiddie table in this plan the whole dang time. And she only just made it to the adult table after fully getting maiden powers. And even then, it's like, you still need to be better. I'm still disappointed in you. So, yeah, I would imagine Watts.
That's the thing. She's been at Salem's right hand, recovering and training to get a hold on the powers. So she hasn't had her big coming out party of being the maiden. So yeah, it's got to be Watts.
I think that has a lot of merit. I will play devil's advocate a little bit and say it could be Cinder, though, because Cinder could be a former member of her bandit crew.
That's possible.
We know nothing about Cinder's backstory.
Really dramatic.
Sorry.
Oh, that was great.
Literally nothing.
Like,
So it's entirely possible that Cinder at one point was a member of Raven's sort of little band of bandits. And because we see from the opening that Vernal and Cinder, have a little stare off. And I can't help but wonder, is that because they're both maidens, or is that because they knew each other at one point?
Oh, I think we're going to have a maiden fight.
Oh, I hope we do. That
Like,
would be
I'm in,
amazing.
I'm down, I need it.
What?
It's going to be ridiculous.
Guys, Guys.
Having a
I
What?
can't believe I'm only just thinking about this now. What happens if one maiden kills another? Does that maiden's power then go to them? Because what if, like, in the same way that Autumn, was thinking of Cinder when she died because that was her murderer, is that something that can happen?
I would like to reference back to that comment of, I don't know how my curse works. How am I supposed to know how your curse works?
They go Super Saiyan?
I can't believe I'm only just now thinking about this.
Oh, that...
Because what if that Salem's plan is to have all of
A
the
super maiden.
Yeah, is to have the this super maiden by killing all of the other maidens.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh my gosh.
Also with Ozpin saying that by endowing his power onto other people, like that lowers his power level.
Yeah, make, Cinder kill the other maidens, and then Cinder gets all of their power, and then Salem kills Cinder, and all of Oz's power from, that he bestowed to the maidens then goes straight to Cinder.
That I can see.
Straight to Salem, sorry.
That I can see.
See, this only works if the last person that a maiden is thinking about is Cinder, which, yeah, high probability if Cinder is murdering these people, but if Vernal goes down, it's possible that she might be thinking of Raven.
Yeah.
Or of someone else completely. Like, it's not necessarily
it's a
this
gamble.
person in
It's
front
a
of you.
gamble.
It could be my life's flashing before my eyes and I'm remembering my surrogate mother.
Well, even regardless of that, they have power zapping abilities.
Yes, they
Yeah,
do.
So-
I mean,
that's
that's
true.
what happened
That
to
bug.
Amber.
The power glove.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
So bad.
Yeah.
And that's how you get all the relics.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Oh, guys,
Ugh.
I can't believe. Oh, okay,
Nailed
okay. Let's. I feel like that kind of wraps it up for this episode. Do we have any final thoughts on this episode before we go into some rapid fire predictions?
Ander Bliss in chat says, what if Cinder's last thought was Ruby and all those powers went to Ruby? She's a little obsessed.
I'd be down. Super solid episode with a lot of implications. These past couple episodes have been really story heavy, which makes me feel that it's leading up to I don't know how long we're gonna get. I guess the only way to put it is the absence of action. I'll put it that way, not a lack of action, but an absence of action. I just hope that they don't build that up until like the last couple of episodes. That's the only thing. But this super solid episode.
Yeah, I feel like this was a nice reprieve from, definitely last season was really heavy. This was a nice reprieve before things get really dark and dire again. So, yes. All right, let's go into some really rapid fire predictions.
Or some slow ones.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
They're flashing really slow.
Yeah,
Very dangerous.
Maiden fight.
That would be great. I'm gonna pick up my maiden theory and run away with it.
Bye.
Bye. That's what I'm thinking.
You fools!
I feel like it's safe to say we're going back to Menagerie next episode.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yep,
most
definitely,
likely.
for sure.
We have to resolve the attempted and or impending murder.
Well, not just that. Now that all of our main team, 3 of the 4 of our main team are together.
Yeah, there's just one loose end to tie up.
Gotta catch up.
Yep. Any other final thoughts before we move into a really quick a reminder announcement?
It's like, wait, we did iTunes, we did that. I look forward to the resolution of some because I've seen the episode. I look forward to the resolution of certain things that were brought up in this episode.
I'm just
Yes.
hoping next episode doesn't break my heart because I feel like it's gonna break my heart.
I'm so sorry.
You sweet summer child.
Not the way you think.
Here's the thing. I think I know what happens.
You
but
don't know what happens.
I don't. Oh, snap. Well, we'll see. We shall see.
But before we go,
Before we go, Mark.
we would like to remind you, speaking of how awesome Nora is, hey, Ireland _ wait, I forgot her Twitter. Is that right? Ireland _ and Samantha?
Yes.
Because
think so.
it's just Sam. So Sam Ireland, the voice of Nora Valkyrie, she is currently trying to produce a short film called Wolves Inside. We talked about it last week, but she announced today that Electra Avellan, I forgot how to pronounce her, for Ireland _ Sam. Thank you. From Day 5, who was Paula, is joining the cast of Wolves Inside. So make sure to head to Ireland _ Sam to donate. right now, I know it's Christmas. Everybody's doing this, that, the other thing. Make Sam's Christmas dreams come true, and $1, $2. Let me tell you, every dollar helps. And making a project like this, she's super passionate about it. I've been talking to her about it, and she's doing so much work to make sure that this goes out without a hitch. So help her out and donate. Go again, hashtag Wolves Inside Film and at Island_Sam. It's an amazing idea, an amazing project. She told me a little bit more about it, so support it so that you can see it.
And $50 gets you that in-character voicemail.
Yes, I was incorrect.
Indeed.
It wasn't 75, it was 50, so it's a lot cheaper.
Although there are rewards for 75, so definitely
Yeah.
feel free to
Do
give
the
more
thing,
if
win
you
the
are
stuff.
so inclined. And guys, if you feel like giving me a Christmas gift, donate to this project because I need a female-driven Western movie in my life.
Also, written, directed, produced, crewed, and performed.
By women.
By
Yes.
women.
Support women in film, guys. It's super, super important. Well, again, thank you all so much for tuning in this week. You guys are amazing. Katie, where can people go if they want to find you?
I'm Katie Cullen. You can follow me all over the social medias as well as YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you want to see our reaction videos to these episodes, that is where they live, on that YouTube channel.
And I'm Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. So we're also on another show, Voltron. And if you want to hear all of us talk in an unrelated, just all sorts of Voltron Christmassy stuff, go to the Let's Voltron podcast. The three of us, as well as Emma and Alexis, all joined in on a giant call and recorded a very fun episode. So if you like Voltron, make sure to go check that out. It is up now. We've all been tweeting about it, Instagramming about it, Facebooking about it. If you like video games, head over to twitch.tv/inventoryfullpt. We stream stuff on there. It is a gaming talk show as well as regular stuff. We kind of have a semi-pro Overwatch team, the LA Lemons. So make sure to go subscribe to support the Lemons. Join the Sour Patch.
Be sure to follow Stacey at Stacey Shuttles, and be sure to follow Patrick at P to the Dees on Twitter. I'm Megan Salinas. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I am on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz. I write articles for the Movie Chick with 2Ks. Be sure to check those out. Be sure to also check out Season 2 of The Shadow Radio Recreation, where I do the voice of Margot Lane. We got a Christmas special coming up, guys. So be sure to follow that to stay tuned. And thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you all next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Dust you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.